welcome to Afterthoughts. This is a podcast where we give you our thoughts. Your thoughts.
Yeah, we'll give you your thoughts.
It's been a minute. Yes, you can think what you want to think. We'll think what we want to think about something that we recently watched. I'm your host tonight, Ryan King. If you could be John Garcia is also joining me.
That's right. I am also joining you. And I'm going to give these people their thoughts, okay? I don't know what you're trying to refrain from. Dixon and I are both here to give them thoughts. Yes, I've included him in this collusion.
Thank you, John.
Yes. Yes, also joining us, if you can be Michael Dixon, you can't because there's only one Michael Dixon.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Yeah. Tonight we are talking about, what's the year?
1971.
1971's Harold and Maude.
Dinner at 8, Harold. And do try and be a little more vivacious. Do you often get the feeling that perhaps life isn't worth living? What do you think, Harold? A, B? Oh, we'll put down C, not sure. Do you have ups and downs without obvious reason? That's you, Harold.
How many of these suicides have you performed?
Oh, my God. This is too much.
An accurate number would be difficult to gauge.
Why, you purchased that monstrosity. I have no idea. That ugly black horror is an eyesore.
Tell me, Harold, what do you do for fun?
I go to funerals.
Is starring Bud Cort as Harold and Ruth Gordon as Maude, our title characters. Very 1970s movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely one of those I think of that like time period and evocative of what movies are like from that early 70s. Bud Cort plays Harold, a late teen, early 20s. They don't tell us exactly.
I'm pretty sure he's 12. Right?
Yeah, he looks 12.
He's 12. He's a 12-year-old going on.
I'm pretty sure
29.
he's a ventriloquist
Yeah,
dummy come to life.
Yeah. A very, very morose motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who I guess wants attention from his mom, who's very controlling, but generally is just kind of like floating through life, obsessed with death, staging fake suicides, trying to I guess figure out what to do.
They look pretty real to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
They do look really real fake suicides.
I feel like this movie's just all death dreams. I'm not entirely sure which one's the real one.
Yeah. What actually is happening. He goes to funerals just for kicks, I guess, and he runs into Maude, who's 79, turning 80 in a week, she tells him, who also just fucking goes to funerals, but also just like completely lives her life. This is a movie I saw as a kid, probably in my teens as well, and just remember being particularly funny. I definitely remember multiple not suicide attempts. He's absolutely it's important to say he's not attempting to commit suicide.
Yeah, he's just fucking
fully
with people.
Doing it, but fucking with people, and almost like magic trick level. Like it's full on believable.
Penn and Teller all the way.
Right. Yes, exactly. A good Penn and Teller's like love of blood or something ridiculous in an act.
I don't know,
I'll
man.
say again,
they look pretty real to me.
they look really good. They look really
so
real.
good.
It is so good. So I watched this again. I watched it with Logan, which is great because I told him absolutely nothing. And the start of this movie is just Harold. You don't see his face really, walking around, doing some stuff in the house, lighting some candles, and then he steps up. You see his feet step up onto a chair and then kick it out and just hang there. And then it zooms out to him hanging there on a noose and his mom walking in and ignoring him while she makes a phone call. And Logan the whole time was like, what the fuck? And then when it reveals like, he's not dead. And obviously his mom is completely unfazed because he's done this enough that she's just over it. Yeah. I think he was hooked and into like, what the hell's going on?
Nice.
I enjoyed it again. It's pretty funny. I think the Cat Stevens music at times fits really well, especially the like central song. Other times it's kind of jarring But I feel like a lot of this time period does that. Like they're like, oh, music, and we can play contemporary music in our movie, and that's cool. But they don't really know how to incorporate it perfectly yet. But still, I like this is definitely this and like The Graduate, kind of are those movies I think of from this time period that and this is exactly the kind of thing I got nostalgia for watching The Leftovers.
The Holdovers?
The Holdovers. I would say
the Leftovers is the Wayne Bros parody.
Yeah, it's the parody. Yeah, right.
They haven't announced
The Holdovers.
Yeah.
The Holdovers like absolutely feels like it's this, made exactly the same time as this movie.
Yeah.
The same kind of like feelings, the same kind of like lost teen character. Yeah, I still enjoyed it. John?
I didn't know what to expect from this. I came back, I think, home from like a meeting up with some buddies on Memorial Day, and I was a little like, I still got a few hours I could do something. So I started watching this, and I had a little bit of that Wild Turkey 8-year whiskey that Dixon gave me.
Nice.
And watched this. And initially, I was a little inebriated, and then at the end I was very inebriated, but also emotionally very inebriated. It made me feel things beyond just laughing at it. It did have like really good heartfelt moments and some very sweet, tender kind of reflection on it. Also, old people sex with young people, which I was not expecting. Which was like, hey, that's progressive for the 70s, I think. I don't know. It was definitely one of those things where I was like, yeah, this feels like a 70s movie. Like if I had seen this and didn't know what year it came out in, I'd be like, this is the perfect placement for that. Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed the Cat Stevens. Even when it was jarring, I had a good time listening to that. I think it's also great to just get like an artist and have them go completely ham for something like the Last Temptation of Christ has its own, which is fantastic score and everything. It's like, hey, we should get more like this. I don't know what to expect from this. I didn't read the synopsis. I didn't do anything else. So I had the same reaction Logan had, where I was like, what the fuck? Like, he's just going to hang himself at the beginning? Jesus. Like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep drinking my whiskey at that moment. But then when his mom came in, I was I'm going to take a few more sips. Just continue to enjoy. All the practical suicide like staging is really impressively done. This is like the weirdest kind of movie magic to praise. I'm just like, man, all those suicides just look so believable. But it really was very impressive. It got funnier as it went on. And of course, when they added more people reacting to it, it's just great gags. But I love the way that it kind of slowly shifts that and the sense of nihilism that has to something more meaningful and caring and tender towards the end. And of course, we'll kind of get into that a bit more. I really I had a great time with this movie. I wanted to show it to Sasha. Didn't have time, but I am going to recommend that she and I watch it at some point soon, while it's still fresh, because I want to rewatch. But yeah, Dixon, what did you think?
Yeah. Is this your first time watching Dixon?
This is my second time seeing this movie. I enjoyed it. It's a very interesting tonally film. Like it's just kind of, it's funny but morbid and kind of lighthearted all at the same time. It's kind of a weird mix of ideas and tones together, but I think it works pretty well. I will say that I think it's very possible that this movie is about a man who just wants to die and can't, and it's like his nightmare that he has to keep living. And then he's like forced to confront life and figure out how to enjoy it because it's his only option. Like he can't actually escape this life, and so he has to live with it. But I don't know. I think that I don't think the deaths are meant to be like his character is joking and having like elaborate, like really great effects around this. Like there's a scene where he's just floating upside down in a pool for a really long time. Like I don't think he's it's meant to be he's like pranking people. I think it is meant to be like he is really depressed, and the movie is showing the suicides as a way to just kind of absurdly display his emotional level and where he is. So it's kind of meant to show you his mental state, not only the fact that he goes to funerals all the time, but he's actually actively trying to kill himself. And doesn't have any friends. His family is completely oblivious to him. His mom just wants him to do whatever she thinks the right next thing in life is, but doesn't actually know him at all or take the time to figure out what he wants. So he's just desperate for, release and can't find it until he meets Maude and is able to find somebody who actually does seem to enjoy life, and everybody around him leading up to that does not seem to enjoy life. And so he learns from her and, tries to figure that out. I think it's a really interesting play between the two characters. I will say I wish Maude's character was a little bit more developed. I think you just kind of see her from Harold's perspective, and we don't get a lot of her motivation or a lot of understanding on why she enjoys life so much and why she also wants to die at the same time. And the ending is a little abrupt, I think. And we can get into that, but mostly I enjoyed the film. I think it's really well done.
Yeah, choice
it
words,
gives us
Dixon. With the release. He found release with Maude.
Yeah,
really.
He did. Yeah. He did. He found release in Maude.
Just to comment on that, they actually wanted to film a straight up sex scene.
Oh, wow.
But that was that was the thing that the studio was just like, no, we won't do it. We won't really, they really were putting their foot down on that. And the director was like, okay, I'm going to have them kiss. And the studio was really, really trying to push on that. No. And he was like, that's it. He's like, that you can't have your sex scene, then I get to have my kissing scene. Yeah. But that even just them kissing was enough at the time that the studio was like, this is too much. So yes.
Wow.
Instead of
when an old woman kisses a young boy, suddenly it's fucking weird and
it's
wrong.
a problem.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Yeah, Hollywood.
I guess technically he's in his 20s, right? So he's legal age. But at the start of the movie, I was like, well, how is he driving? He can't be more than 13. There's no way.
But Jimmy Stewart can totally handsy, creepy, all up on a lady.
Yeah, he could fucking rub his face all over Kim Novak. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, no, I think that does also show the changing times, and it just, the perception within the movie or outside the movie on what honestly is a very touching relationship, the way that it's presented in here. That this all takes place in 1 week. I don't think I even had thought about that before, but
they go to a lot of funerals in that week.
Yeah, they go to a lot of funerals. He learns to play the banjo well within that 1 week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he has multiple doctor's appointments. He must go to his shrink every day, I guess. Or she's saying generally she's a week away from her birthday and there's some time passing. It definitely feels like there's a decent amount of time passing here, but I guess it's technically a week. The character motivations are to their core are kind of only given to us in 1 or 2 scenes and just sort of generally implied from there on out. Harold later in the movie explains that he nearly died in a chemistry accident at school and that his mom, he heard, I guess, that his mom reacted and fainted. Mm-hmm. And so he seems obsessed with this near-death experience, probably something he actually himself felt, otherwise being kind of numb to the world around him, and then also seeing his mom actually give a shit about him, or he perceives actually giving a shit about him in that moment. Though the way his mom acts, the fainting might have been for the people around her, not as much for him either.
Yeah.
It's kind of shitty. Yeah, and so he's trying to evoke that, but in the same way, I'm he's also not going through with it because he does want to see the reaction of that, right? So he still wants that emotion that's out there. And Maude, through one little couple of mentions, we can see that she's probably an Auschwitz survivor. And I guess having that confrontation of death, she's decided to just do whatever she wants to do, literally ignoring the police, just getting in whatever car she wants to get into and drive away, drawing on saint statues or at the church, and just whatever else, posing nude for all kinds of art,
for ice sculptors and anybody,
just very much lives it up.
Yeah, I mean, we see too, the one thing that I noticed throughout the movie is everything in Harold's life is massive in scope, except for him. like a lot of the sequences are like a big pool and its center frame, and his body floating in it is, you know, it's sort of like there's like a fly in it, almost is what it feels like, the way that they pull out on certain like external shots, landscape shots. And then when he goes to Maude's at any point, it's so dense. There's so much in it that's like collected from her interests, what she's getting into, like how rich she's made her life. And the shots are always very, very tight for that. But then when we cut back over to like any of the palatial estate that Harold lives in, it's this like these massive ceilings and just like sprawling rooms, all of this like gaudy shit that's just put on the side in like cases and never touched. And Maude's place feels like a fucking mess where she's always just moving something or doing something or making tea. And like, that's another thing that I feel like tells you a bit about their backgrounds, where they like have grown or where they currently like reside in their headspace, like why they act the way that they do. And that's part of what's compelling, I think, to Harold too, is it's just magical to be in such a dense, populated with like so many different actually interesting things. It reminded me of the end of A Serious Man when Larry's son goes to the rabbi and it's like this wizard's chamber, like all of those books and like, he quotes like, you know, fucking songs from Airplane, the Jefferson Airplane. And just that kind of like, wow, you could give a shit about something like that's magical. Like,
right.
Juxtaposed with all of Harold's mom being like, let me just take this quiz for you. This is a dating profile quiz. Do you? I don't think that you do like this. Like, oh, okay. Like all that
answering
shit.
For herself.
Yes.
Clearly.
Eventually she doesn't even play with pretending like she's answering for him. She just straight answers for herself.
Like, has the sexual liberation gone too far? Well, I certainly think so.
But yeah, those were other pieces that I thought lent to their characters. So I felt like I knew and like know everything about them. Yeah, and their motivations, but judging by the spaces that they lived in, I felt why they were potentially attracted to each other. Maude, just because she's a free spirit, they meet at the funerals, and Harold because he's trapped in like these like larger and larger cages, it seems, and wanting to kind of figure out how to break out of that, or like what the fuck it even means to break out of that. So watching him go down this like almost Bonnie and Clyde crime path with Maude was a great transition of liberation for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the giant mansion, but he's totally trapped within it. It seems that he's post high school because he's not going to school or anything. So he's like probably in his early 20s. Mm-hmm. But he's just living with his mom, and it seems like he can't get away, or somehow he's stuck with that, and she's trying to like marry him off, you know, set him up with these computer dates. But why wouldn't he just be able to walk out and go do whatever he wanted to do at any point, right? Like he's sort of trapped of his own making. Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, Maude lives in like a rail car surrounded by stuff, but is completely free to go just do whatever she wants.
Yeah, it's like the, you know, classic young male story of aimlessness and not, you know, knowing what he wants to do with his life, and, you know, being kind of paralyzed by fear, you know, and he's so terrified of everything. Whenever anyone speaks to Harold, his eyes get as big as the fucking sun. He's just so scared when anyone approaches him. And then when he looks at the prospects that he has for his life, he's just not really excited about anything that he could be doing. And I love that scene where she has him meet with, is it his uncle? That's the one-armed
his uncle.
Like, general.
Oh God, I love that guy.
Oh my God. So fucking funny, where he's talking to him about, oh, Harold, yeah, I think you'd make a great soldier. You know, this country needs more people to go over and fight in Vietnam and kill all the people they can over there. And we need more people like Nathan Hale. He goes on a rant about Nathan Hale. He's like, this country needs more Nathan Hales. And Nathan Hale was an American spy that got captured and executed by the British in the Revolutionary War. So I don't really know how that would be beneficial for this country to have more people get executed. But okay. But But that whole scene is hilarious. And he is, the man just has a left arm. And so he can't salute. And so he has this cord that he pulls out of his jacket that pulls his right jacket arm up into the shape of a salute, which is just the fucking funniest thing I've ever seen. And of course, then it comes back later and like, you know, it accidentally gets pulled and he looks like a fucking idiot with his salute going. But
Yeah, that bit, there's so many things in this movie that reminded me of other movies later, or like ideas that happened later in pop culture. Because it's like Harold going to funerals and meeting Maude there reminded me of Fight Club. They're like a few steps away from starting a Fight Club. That's genuinely what's, they're both like going to the AA meetings, like preying on people's grief. But yeah, like the him talking to his uncle reminded me of, oh fuck, what is that other movie? Oh, Starship Troopers. Like them talking to pretty much anybody in Starship Troopers who's been like mangled, and they're like, you're doing a great service.
Made me the man I am today.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's the comedy in this is either that dark comedy of these suicides or the complete absurdist, outlandish comedy of the salute with the like sleeve machinery or whatever it is, or later his like salute getting stuck in place while they're having the chaos ongoing, and that like when he meets with his psychiatrist and he's wearing the exact same outfit, it starts with a shot behind them both in chairs while they're talking, and then when it flips to see the two of them, and Harold is wearing, every time he meets with him, exactly the same suit and tie as a psychiatrist. No mention of it. We just get that visual gag over and over again. And then after he's decided he wants to propose to Maude, we get shots of like each of the figures in his life with the like their
authority
mascot, their authority figure behind them. Richard Nixon,
Freud,
the
Pope,
Freud, and the Pope. And that priest just, into this like disturbing diatribe where he's clearly into it, but admonishing him for wanting to have sex with an old lady and her flabby buttocks, sagging breasts.
Oh man, it would have been great if it was Werner Herzog, but it had to. It would have been young.
Oh yeah,
Herzog.
right. That would have been amazing.
Older one would be funny.
That would have been hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, the buildup of his deaths too, because they start off. I mean, hanging isn't like relatively simple. Just ask David Carradine.
And the hanging, like that one's one where it's hard to see what the trick is.
Yes.
Right. Like even sitting there trying to think about like, well, how did he do that and not actually choke himself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed him. He's trying to kill himself, guys.
Yeah, Dixon's convinced that he's trying to kill himself. We get it, Dixon. You want him to die.
I know he wants to die.
But it's that, and then it's like him floating in the pool, and like there's a few of those. I would call them smaller scale suicide attempts. When we get to like the big stuff, when he has to pull out the big guns for his dates,
like when he lights himself on fire,
when he does self-immolation.
There's a whole show. Yeah.
Oh my god, those sequences have such a buildup, and I feel like it's crazy because in other movies, when there's a consistent gag that has to repeat, I feel like sometimes it can take away from the pacing of the movie or the story, because whoever penned it really just wants to do that gag again, or they want you to see this part. I feel like it's so well woven into this movie that he's going to try to kill himself multiple times that you as the audience member sensing it still have a sense of momentum that the scene is moving forward, because you're seeing him like prepare the suicide in some way, shape, or form. But the other character is unknowingly trying to participate in a conversation they think furthers the relationship. And I was appreciative of the fact that it didn't deter from like, what are we learning from this other than Harold wants to try to kill himself or do these things. It is in this buildup that there's a constant deterrence, or like, it almost feels like he's spiraling out harder and harder as the movie goes. Even as he's meeting Maude and talking with her, I think that like his growth with Maude makes him hate a lot more of his current life circumstance. even more so, and it's reflected in his suicide attempts, like the self-immolation, the fact that he just outright chops an arm off in front of one of the dates, and then he commits, harakiri. That one was fantastic.
It's overly dramatic, yeah.
Like all of those have their own, they hold more and more presence within the film as it's going. And I thought that it built beautifully in a narrative sense to that grand scale, like finale piece, which we'll talk about later. But, did y'all feel like, Dixon, you said earlier, I think that like tonally, this is kind of interesting because it flips back and forth between sort of that being really serious and then being very, dark, but lighthearted in a way. Did you feel a similar, like, did you feel a pacing problem or anything with these suicide gags? Did they ever feel like they got old for you, or was
no? I love the suicide gags.
Okay,
They're great. Yeah, I thought they were all pretty funny throughout. I love the one, like the long slow reveal of him floating in the pool is so good. Where his mom is walking down the steps to the pool and getting, putting sunscreen on, getting ready to like sit down and lounge, and the camera just very slowly pulling out, and you just see his corpse floating in the pool, and she's just completely unfazed. She's like, oh, he fucking does this all the time.
Yeah, they're each like drawn out dramatically, and also like several of them even later you're still like, did that happen? Like they're shot well enough that it's still so hard to tell. Like, I think the one where he chops his hand off,
that's pretty fake.
That one looks pretty fake from the get-go, and him floating in the pool you kind of know initially. But like he shoots himself and it feels very legit. Like the way it's shot in the movie, it 100% feels like it happened.
Yeah.
And then the harakiri is like really light, but then we do see it's a fake blade afterwards. And you kind of know at that point that one especially, I think you fully know like he's just doing it to scare off the girl, like following through with it. But it still takes us through the whole. Like he lays out a tatami mat, he sits down, he takes off his jacket and carefully puts it up. He's about to go, and then he moves his tie out of the way. Like he follows this like very ceremonious like follow through of all of it.
Yeah.
Before a dramatic like blood.
I can't believe that Harold didn't even try to nominate his date as a second for his harakiri.
Oh yeah, just in case.
That would have taken it to the ultimate limit if he handed a katana to her and was like, "When I do it." That date was different though because she fucking loved it. She was like all about it.
Into it. Yeah.
I thought that the movie was going to take some weird twist where she would become they'd become a throuple in some weird way. What was her name? Sunshine? Starlight?
Sunshine.
Some shit like that. The mom even got it wrong. She was like, whatever your name is.
Yeah, she's like, Starlight. Yeah. Well, then I guess, it slowly reveals that that's not her name. She gives him another name that's also not her name.
Yeah.
She's each of those dates are absolutely also ridiculous characters. So we had 3 different dates. Their names are all something kind of silly. Sunshine Doré, I guess was her name, and then Candy Golf and Edith Fern. Are each of the each of the dates that he has.
The archetypes of Harold's love.
Sort of. Each more ridiculous than the last.
They all seem like dates that just like his mom wants to make friends with people or something, like they don't really seem, his mom doesn't seem like she actually is trying to set him up with someone. She's just talking to these women that are coming in like, oh, here's my son, Harold. He's nice. It's a weird dynamic between him and his mom that it's just, they're very emotionally stunted, and that relationship has clearly created a lot of problems.
Yeah. This is a California movie, right? This was shot in California.
Yeah. This is shot almost like all in the Bay, like south of the Bay Area, or they do go there in the Santa Cruz pier at one point. So kind of all that south of the Bay Area.
They had arranged marriages back then. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah.
The Bay Area is a weird place.
They had those computer, the concept of a computer date kind of thing. Like it's interesting that now we do fully have like online dating, but this idea that you mailed something off in a computer calculated like whether it was a good date for you. I wonder if that ever was true.
The punch
I feel
card
like that
kind of
100%. I feel 100% that they just fucking scrambled them up. Like, why waste money on computing time on this date thing? Just say you're doing it, and then you just like send them out and don't even try. Yeah, who cares? Yeah. Who's ever gonna check?
There's got to be a lawsuit somewhere, like filed legally that you can access in the American archives about one of those companies getting sued or some shit.
Also, they would have to have a database to go off of with data of, well, whether the dates actually went well and whether they turned into relationships. If you're just starting this thing from scratch, you wouldn't actually be able to match people without having some sort of history there.
I see like a Professor
how did you
Frank
build your
style
algorithm?
thing on the back end, and it just lights on fire the moment that you put the punch cards in. Oh God!
I definitely. Yeah, I think of the computer in Willy Wonka, where he's like, "I've used the computer to calculate where the next golden ticket is," and then it like takes forever to process, and then comes out, and he's like, "The computer wants to know what it would do with a golden ticket." And then he starts punching in. He's like, "I'm telling it exactly what it can do." There you go.
Yeah, be some goofy nonsense.
I want to talk about Harold's car.
Which
Oh
one?
yeah, the car.
The first, the hearse, or the one that he converts into a hearse?
Oh, the whole thing. Like he starts out driving a hearse and seems very in love with this car, and his mom is just really upset about it. And he's like, it's just an eyesore. Like, and then later in the movie, she's like, "I got rid of your car. I got you something that's more suited for you." And she buys him this really nice sports car, and he just looks at it like you can tell he's pissed. And then later, they don't show him actually doing it, but later all of a sudden he's just driving that painted black, converted into a sports car hearse, which is just...
It's like a PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we get the speed. I feel like it's necessary because I don't think that a traditional hearse could get the speed needed for the end of the movie when he has to go 88 miles an hour.
True.
That's true. Yeah.
True.
Well placed.
Yeah. What I guess it's the second time we meet Maude at the funeral. As she's leaving, she gets in a VW bug and pulls away.
Oh yeah,
The priest comes running after, and he's like, "Hey, that's my car! Like, she stole my car." And we find out she has like a master set of keys for any car.
How do you get one of those?
I need that.
Yeah, they did have that kind of thing back in the day. Like Ford would have a master key that they could use on their cars, and so I guess she has like a copy of those, and she mentions like she has to get them updated with the new models. So she's even still going into trouble to like go get more so she can keep getting them. Yeah. And then the next time they meet, she pulls up in his hearse.
Yeah.
And is like, "Hey, let's take a ride," not knowing it's his. So she straight up just went and was like, "I'll take this hearse."
Yeah.
As my next ride.
Yeah, I love that exchange when he's like, "This is my car," and she's like, "Oh, it is. Well, then you should drive." And like immediately they just get out and run around.
Yeah,
to a different side.
That's after she peels out and is like whipping that, like honestly, like Tokyo drifting this hearse around corners out of the cemetery.
Maude and the Fast and the Furious would be amazing.
Yeah,
That would be great. Yeah.
She's the wise counsel that Dom would go to. Like, I just don't know what to do, Maude.
They did add Helen Mirren in some of the later movies, but I don't believe she ever drives.
Did she have sex with a younger boy or a man, I should say, that
or
was
at least
20?
implied.
No,
Yeah.
she and Vin need to just get it on. Just stop.
Just
stop
get it over
all
with.
the-
Stop posturing, damn it. We saw Fast 10.
Yeah.
All the tension is there. It needs to be broken.
The car itself kind of underscores their relationship change, the flow between Harold's worlds, I guess, these realms that he lives in. It's either like his mom's world or it's Maude's world until it becomes kind of his own thing. But do y'all think that, like, based on that too, because like halfway through, it's when his mom reveals like, "Hey, I got rid of that stodgy old hearse and I got you this nice sports car," trying to pull him back into that other world of big mansion halls and empty shit, not fulfilling to him at all. Do you think that his transition of getting that car back to the hearse, like Dixon, you just said, at some point it just becomes a hearse again. Like, he's clearly made it what he needs to make it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty Whiplash kind of gag. That's funny. But in the terms of him and Maude's relationship, do y'all feel like that was well paced for the film? Like, we've talked about gags that are really fun, the suicide gags and the bits, and there's really good build in a lot of the jokes and the way that his journey is told. But did y'all feel like him and Maude actually deserved at the end of it the sort of intimacy that they have? Did it feel earned by the script and the storytelling?
I think for Harold's character, it did. But we just never really get Maude's perspective and what she wants or is getting out of that relationship. I mean, she doesn't really seem to spend time with many other people, so maybe she's just lonely and, in her last week on Earth. But I think it, presents to Harold like, oh, this is there's another way to live. You can just be carefree and do whatever you want and not be under the weight of all these expectations. So I think that his character arc made sense, but hers feels a little bit just kind of one-sided, and I wish we knew a little bit more about what she was dealing with.
She very much lives in the moment. Like, this does feel like it kind of is a fling, I guess, for her. Not necessarily that it isn't going anywhere, but that she's not really concerned one way or another. Like, this is what she's doing in the moment. Sure, that's what he wants to do. Sure. She does seem fascinated by him because she's the one that advances towards him on the funeral and is like, oh, you go to these too? Like, I know I've seen you at some previous funerals. And then is like, you should just come to my house. We should hang out. You want to dance sometime? Like, she just like pulls him in immediately. And he's fascinated in confusion because, he has that initial like staring, not talking that he does with everyone, with her as well. But then, I feel like as he warms up to her, as he comes out of his shell, begins in a way also expressing himself outward to his mom. By the end of the movie, he's also changed his clothes. He's not wearing the like dark suits and stuff that he is. Like, he definitely comes into his own through this relationship and learns to actually like enjoy himself. So I do feel like it takes its time like getting him to that point, but it does feel like Maude doesn't really change in any way from this. Like, she already is who she wants to be and is doing what she wants to do at any point. And he comes along and she's like, I want to be with him too, and pulls him in.
Yeah.
I do feel like the like at the end he gives her like a coin he made, I guess, like a stamp coin or something. We don't exactly see what it is, but he puts a note on it that says like, oh, Harold loves Maude. And she's like, oh yeah, Maude loves Harold too. Then she immediately just chucks it in the ocean.
Yeah.
Which is like really shocking to him and you as the audience. But then she's like, yeah, I'll always know where it is. It'll be right there. Which like fits her character, that it's sort of like this flippant decision she makes, but like also touching in a way, but also not. Like, it's just so she has this like really intriguing balance.
Yeah, it makes sense too that she wouldn't change too much if this is like a given week as well. Like, when you're younger,
right,
things move faster, you change faster.
Yeah.
You have that mindset. She might already be set in her ways. And also, spoilers, she takes a pill that she's like, well, it's my 80th birthday. I'm fucking going, I'm going to die. So I guess should see you later, which is, I think, a fitting narrative confrontation for Harold, given he spent the entire movie faking deaths to then come face to face with a real one, with somebody that he's learned to care about. I think that shocks him and is his ultimate kind of change, where he decides, like, you know what, it's kind of like towards the end too. We can talk about if the end is real or not, if you really want to. But for me, it's sort of like his decision is like, okay, well, I got to leave this behind as a chapter, and move on and kind of grow. But yeah, I think that she kind of made up her mind, and so she wasn't going to change. Like, when she met him at that funeral, maybe she was like, maybe I can just like hang out with this kid, and anything that like rubs off on him, it will change him. But I don't know. I guess a follow-up question to this, given that, Ryan, you've told us that the studio didn't want them to have sex and didn't want them to kiss on screen, and that this relationship is generally frowned upon by psychoanalysts and priests and Richard Nixon.
The military?
And mothers.
Yeah.
And mothers. Yeah, and mothers. Is Hollywood's pushback to this, is this why the manic pixie girl exists? The like carefree trope woman that shows up to show stodgy men.
Old woman.
Yes, because they couldn't have it be an old woman anymore, and they were like, she's got to be young. She needs to be a Zooey Deschanel age. Cut her hair short, make her a free spirit. Really Dharma and Greg it up. Would you say that this is to blame?
Yeah. Yeah, right. I think they just keep going with what they feel like is marketable, which is young women, and they just don't give a shit about how old the guy
That's
is.
true. Yeah.
And still, like, the fact that this is a rarity, right? 50 years on is interesting to think about. That it would have been shocking at its time, but honestly, also still very surprising now. That it is a relationship that you wouldn't expect, but almost in a way that it's like that opposites attract, or they are a really good fit for each other because it isn't what you would expect. Yeah, she does say at the beginning, like she tells him right off that she'll be 80 in a year. And I think the funeral that they go to is for a guy that was 80 or
Yeah.
something around that. Yeah, and she mentions that like underneath that kind of sucks, but if you get to 85, like come on already, like what are you doing here? And that 80 is like a perfect window. So she's obviously long since decided that 80 is a good time to go. Yeah, like she's done what she can do and that's it, I guess. And that if anymore, it gets almost sad to be around that long. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not expecting Maud's character to change, but I would like to understand her motivations a little bit more from
Right.
the perspective of why she's decided that her life is over now and why she is attracted to Harold. And she knows this is the last week of her life and she wants to spend it with him. Like what has brought her to that place to make those two decisions that seem very, obviously both are very consequential in her life. So just be curious to learn a little bit more there.
Yeah.
I think it's an admirable attitude that she has that like, I understand people are like, hey, I want to live a good life, but I don't want to die in a hospital. I want to, go out on my own terms. Like I can understand that, but we don't really, necessarily know what is driving that decision. We know that's kind of part of it, but we don't really get a full, thought there from her.
Yeah, she sort of I mean, she has opportunities, right? I could see there being a scene where they talk, because they have tea at one point that she makes him. They could have had a conversation at that point about some of the, Harold could ask her these questions of like, why do you do it? Like, what's going on? We have that scene where they're watching the fireworks and he gives her the coin. Harold loves Maude. Even after, they've had relations, it's like they're in a bed. There could easily be some kind of moment that they could talk about it, but she's like peacefully asleep, and we're really just told this through Harold's eyes if he's just more fascinated with who she is and wants to learn and love her more. And it gets taken away pretty fast. But yeah, I could see certain sequences being like a little more soft lighting and maybe like a minute or two of at least like, when I was this age, I thought the world kind of worked this way, but it doesn't. And we don't get to choose these things. Or maybe she's always just been really positive, even in most dire straits, and talks about trying to make that work, and it kind of like betraying her at times, but ultimately, like, what else is there? There's, so many opportunities, I guess, that she could have done things like that.
Yeah, they have a lot of conversations about life in general. Often they're about living, right? Or doing what you want, or how you live. There's a few conversations, like when she does talk about being a kid, and she mentions, she's like, that's before, and then she like, gets distant and kind of starts to cry. But she does talk about that time of being like, she was thinking about like, I could do this or whatever. I was fascinated by this and thinking about that. And then after, it seems like at some point, it's not clear if it's immediate or only recently, at some point after surviving the Holocaust, she's decided to just very much live in the moment and do as she wants to do. Just, the government, whatever, all these things are just things to cage you. Another, thing that they try to put you in a box, kind of way. She does mention, like, towards the end, I think it's almost like the last conversation they have, where she talks about the guy at Devil's Island, like he sees all these birds out there, and then when he gets out later, he's like, oh, they're just seagulls. And she's looking at seagulls going, no, to me, they're amazing birds. Yeah. Like, I can choose to have them be that. I don't have to, like, to deal with that or whatever. So she's definitely seeing things the way that she wants to and she chooses to. And yeah, she is choosing to go out. I think it's kind of important that it is shockingly fast that she dies. That Harold is just, like, caught in this, like, actually facing death and having no clue what to do or how to feel about it. It is sudden. It happens. It would be inevitable, but she's choosing to have it happen now. That it's a suicide when he's been faking all these suicides. Like, it's all very, very fitting. I think the enigmaticness of it and the choice of from a movie perspective is kind of what makes this a little bit more like timeless and intriguing, because you really can sit there and be like, why did she do that? Like, she was so into life and all of these things and seemingly into Harold, and then she's just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. To have that just be turned down. I keep thinking about because I think about movies where old people grow and or learn. I keep thinking about Gran Torino for some reason, and how like the only thing that was learned at the end of that is you can teach racism to kids and it's okay sometimes as long as you stand up for the good ones. like, but there's like a whole grand buildup of like.
He learned to enjoy foreign cuisine.
That's true, yes. Use slurs in friendly environments. And like stand up for your rights. But like I remember that movie. I think I haven't seen that movie since it was in theaters, because I remember seeing it and being like, whoa. And even like after seeing it, being like, that's kind of just soured ever since then, as I think more and more about it. Because I'm like, wow, I just didn't realize. Now seeing Dirty Harry and all the other things from Clint Eastwood, I'm like, it makes sense. It tracks that this is his follow through. But like, what is like an elder leave behind in terms of a legacy to teach or like show you, and how does film represent it? And yeah, Harold and Maude has just like so many questions about like, well, can you determine when your life is going to end? What does it do for other people? Like, what does it do to other people when you are like such a free, high energy spirit that can like positively impact your community and do some crazy shit too on the side, versus thinking about Gran Torino, where it's like you're a curmudgeoned, bitter old man who's racist, and you stand up for like one kid because you learned he's one of the good ones. And there's such a heightened, like, I remember the final act of that movie is so much of a swell emotionally around like, wow, look at this racist old guy. He's going to stand on his lawn for good purposes now. And then watching this and seeing Maude just like look Harold in the eyes as she's like taking her pill and be like, I'm going to die now. I feel like this is such a much more, it is jarring in the best way. And I feel like it's underplayed the best too. Like, I wouldn't say that the moment is underplayed. Like, it's very dramatic. There's a lot happening. Harold's like, what? Like, no, you can't do that. And it swells and does all of this, but it is not condemning or condoning what Maude has done. It is representing what Maude's done. It's like, this is her decision. She has agency in this world and she does what she pleases. And that's just how it's going to be. Gran Torino felt like it was like, this is the good cause. This is what the right thing is to do. I kind of appreciate that. While I still don't fully, I didn't get like, an exposition or expository scene that tells Maude's like, I was doing it because blah, 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 like backing up sort of what her idea is all along. We get all these little breadcrumbs in a similar way that Gran Torino has, but it ultimately ends in a, like, I feel like it's a you decide, like, what do you really think about what Maude's decision was? Was it for the right, do you feel like she made a thing for the right reasons? Does it matter? And now, like, what's Harold doing? Because Harold learned how to play the banjo because of her, and at the end of the movie, he's playing the banjo again. Whether he's a ghost or not, whether he's in an Ingmar Bergman film, that's questionable.
Yeah, he is standing on a desolate cliff.
I saw him dancing with death. Him in the silhouettes.
Yeah, dancing away.
But yeah.
I think that she rightly sees that death is just part of life, and that death maybe is even what gives like purpose and value to life, like that it's fleeting, that it ends. And in a way, like, this to her is just like the next experience, contrasted to the otherwise like escape or like, I'll show them kind of like typical like suicide things. This is for her, this is much more of like it's her choice, her thing. It's not for anyone else. It's not any other. Yeah. Like, it just is the next thing that she's doing.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing. I do think that it gives Harold like the absolute complete perspective that he needs. Like he's been caught up in the moment with her and, actually like living and doing that. But to have this like absolute ultimate choice that like you can do whatever, like absolutely whatever. And if
Yeah.
you're done and check out, like you can do that. You can be done and check out. That almost is like, why? Still, and he doesn't really confront it within the movie, but seemingly at the end, you have that open that like, why doesn't he just go somewhere else? Like, why does he stay
Yeah.
trapped in that house and with his mom? If he hates that, he could just go do something else. And not even in that, like, it's escaping. I feel like this is something I say to people who hate their job. I'm like, don't leave the job because you hate it. Like, leave because you found something else that you want.
Yeah.
Right. And I do feel like, yeah, for her, it's not necessarily that she's leaving because she hates everything or whatever. She loved everything that she was doing now. She loved all the beauty of it and the life and all that. And now she's going and doing something else. Yeah, so the ending, I guess we can jump to that too. Other than this, like, shocking turn, he rushes Maude to the hospital and she doesn't make it. Whatever pills, we're not told that she took effect. And then we see him upset, driving his Jaguar hearse like quickly around turns and then up and over a cliff, and we watch it panned out smash into the beach below the cliff, and then pan further out to see him just hanging out on the cliff looking down. Another faked suicide attempt, like, to the audience. And again, I'm like, this, having now had all these fake suicides and then Maude's legit suicide, which like hits you and is shocking, you fully can buy in that he's going to drive off the cliff. And so it is almost a comedic relief, right? To like pan back out and it's like, oh no, he didn't. He fucking got you.
Yeah.
Again with this like fake. And then, yeah, like symbolically, I guess, like that car was still him holding on to some of these other things that he's now let go. He's in the most colorful clothes we've seen him in at all. And then, yeah, he sort of like dances off playing the banjo.
Yeah. The car will be where he knows where it'll be. It's just like Maude throwing a coin.
That's exactly what I said. Logan and I were watching, the car crashes and it pans out and he's standing there. And I was like, now I know where that'll always be. Yeah. Right there on that beach.
The rush to the hospital sequence, I was a little bit like, oh man, like I wish Maude kind of didn't get to go out on her own terms because of that. And I wish that, I feel like it would have been a nice closure for the characters, for her to like have a conversation with her, like, no, like don't call them, like this is what I want, and to like have a, more of a conversation there. But I don't know, maybe that would have been too much saying, not showing, and that sequence, it works, but it made me a little bit sad that Maude didn't really get to go out exactly how she wanted. I'm sure that's not how she wanted to spend the last hours of her life, being rushed to a hospital and dealing with all that bullshit. But it's like Harold's refusal to grapple with her death, and that she actually wants that, and he's like too immature to handle that. So I don't know, at the end, with him driving off the cliff, if he is faking the other suicides, which again, I don't know that he is, but if he is faking the other suicides, there's no one watching that one, right? And so you could say, well, we are, as the audience are, he does look at the camera at one point in the movie, so maybe there is some sort of awareness that there are other people there watching, rather than just doing it for his mom and the women she brings over. But it doesn't feel like there's no winking at the camera there, like he's like literal winking at the camera. He's just driving off the cliff, and then is that just a representation that he's super depressed and really struggling to deal with this and trying to figure out how to move forward, where you have him driving off the cliff juxtaposed with him standing there playing the banjo and kind of walking away from the cliff? Is that just showing kind of the two decisions that are laying there before him? Like, I either dive into despair, or I try to learn what I can from this experience and to go on and to find joy in life the way that Maude did. It's a purposely ambiguous ending that I don't know that there's supposed to be like a right answer to it. But
yeah. But there is meaning in both, that we see two artifacts of Harold's life in that moment. It's his hearse, which is given to him. Technically, it's like a spiritual thing because his old hearse was junked. So it's not like he can destroy that. But the hearse was an object he clung to prior to meeting Maude. His like fascination with these, with all these morbid objects and with death. And then after seeing death in the face, looking at Maude as she's going to leave, he, like, once he crashes that car, wielding the banjo that she gave him and playing music, which is, you know, a symbol of life, like a vibrancy, like a singing and kind of joyous tune, as he like dances off, does have like its good poetic purpose of like, he's, to Ryan's point earlier, like he's leaving this phase of his life behind, like all this stuff that he was obsessed with, and he's going to dance on. He's carrying now the tune that like Maude gave him. This is like one way obviously that you can interpret it, but it maybe not a physical, but yeah, to your point, like these both are representative objects. Both are very like key to that. The fact that he's wearing colorful clothes and playing banjo and dancing off is, he's got some spark that she gave him. And he, you know, is going to go take that wherever he may. We also didn't talk about how like Maude permeates through like different parts of his life in like when they first like pull a heist and steal a tree and then go plant it out in the forest. Oh, yeah. That was like its own thing where she's like not even sassing the officer. She's just fucking with him.
All her reactions or interactions with the police are great.
So good. Or when they troll his uncle and he decides that he's going to like sign up for the military and is fucking with his uncle about it. That sequence is probably the best example of like Maude really, like, I think he's just going to carry that shit forward. I think everything beyond that, because in that sequence, when he initially is like, I can maybe go and like, you're going to teach me how to stab guys with a bayonet. And he's like doing the stabbing motion and getting like really morbid. And the uncle's like, all right, like that's kind of fucking weird, but like, yeah, sure. We could teach you how to kill a man that way. And then like eventually him just being like, she's a dirty communist. I'm going to kill her. Like blah, blah, blah. Like confronting him with that and Maude helping, just so funny. And they fake her death too, when they like send her down a trap hole or whatever the fuck happened. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, those are like the pieces I think he'll carry forward. I think that final sequence really embodies that message, but it is, it's the eye of the beholder. It's whatever you kind of want to believe. Like they're just as easily, it could be a dream sequence. I was pretty convinced he was dead, and I was very shocked when the car hit the ground. When I saw it, since it's my first time, I was like, what the fuck? And then even when it revealed it, I was like, yeah, he's still fucking dead. He's down there. Yeah. I immediately thought of Bergman.
Yeah. So. I do think you've seen the Norm Macdonald joke where he's asking about Birdman. He's like, yeah, so what happened at the end? He's dead, right? Right? There's no way.
Wait, Birdman or Birdman?
I'm supposed to think.
Yeah, Birdman.
Am I supposed to think he flew? That's bullshit. That old man, he couldn't fly. I think it would take away from it if he died. Yeah. Because the last thing that Maude says to him is like, you know, he's holding her in the ambulance and is like, I love you. And she's like, great. Like, go love some more. Yeah. Like, go love again. Like, go love more. Like, do more. Yeah. It does feel like it would really stain that relationship that they had and that memory of that if he then turns around and actually kills himself. I do think he legitimately is like gonna look back on this fondly, you know, even with the pain of that memory, but now he is gonna do what he wants to do. Like,
I don't
now
think he can go to like funerals anymore, probably, without thinking about Maude. So he's probably also in a stage of grief of just being like, I don't want to face that.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, I think it will stick with him. And in that way, like Maude, right, even if she is fully in the moment, she does have that past that is also dark that she looks back on too. Like, that's also part of life, right? Like, of these good and bad together moments. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that, like, if you're watching this movie and you're in a certain headspace, you'd probably be like, yeah, he's dead. Like, I'm sure that there's some edgelords out there that don't really think about the narrative complexity and or completion. That, like, no, it just had a dark ending.
You remember the Simpsons episode where where Maude dies and Moe comes to the wake and he's talking to Flanders and he's like, "Man, that Maude, she was something," and Flanders starts punching him because he's talking about how hot Maude was, and he's like, "That's it, take me to Maude." that's what Harold was saying when he drove off the cliff. That's it, baby, take me to Maude.
Oh God. I think that was the final Simpsons episode I watched of like the later seasons, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of out."
Oh, that episode's great. That's season 11. Is really that's where you stop.
Yeah.
That's the one where Maude dies and the behind the music spoof.
Oh
yeah. There's just a good one in
Yeah.
that season.
Did this Ryan? Do you know? Did Harold and Maude inspire like? I know you said it was like a pretty rare kind of movie in the way that it's done. Did it inspire like any other films you're aware of? You're like, yeah, this.
I think it had to have. This is like one of the top cult movies. There's some theater that it runs in like every week since it came out. I think except like shortly during the pandemic, but is like still running. That this is one of the ones that they play. Yeah, it's definitely an enigmatic cult. It was a bomb. It was an absolute bomb in the theater. Ebert has a very scathing review of it.
Really?
Yeah, but I do think that there are people that watched it. Like, is that like how well did the MASH movie do? I think it was also a little rocky.
I'm not sure
when it came
That was a
out
year
because it was
before.
hard. Yeah, it was kind of hard to get it. I think that pretty quickly into the 70s, people were able to look back and appreciate these movies. But when they initially came out, they were so counterculture and kind of hard to swallow. Obviously, the MASH TV show is also still pretty dark, but also different.
Not as dark.
And so,
as
yeah.
the
studio
movie.
audience for that one.
Yeah,
right?
It has its moments. Yeah, it has a studio, but it also has like really fucked up, dark, shocking moments too. Just mostly comedy, but here and there mixed in. So yeah, I think there had to have been a ton of filmmakers that watched this and were like, I could do something else, right? Like this really is one of those movies that you could have looked back and been like, oh, I could just tell a smaller story, a different story. I could say things that people don't say and like talk about things that people don't talk about. Yeah, the reason I think of MASH is, just being a year before, but also dealing with suicide and like actually kind of confronting it. That movie more the like cowardness of it, like the actual, like even in the front of all the horrible stuff of war. Just did very, very, and I still think like, honestly, it's a tough topic and this movie doesn't necessarily deal with it fully, but the fact that it like constantly confronts it.
Yeah. Have you guys seen any other Hal Ashby movies? I've seen Being There, which is pretty good. It's Peter Sellers and Shirley MacLaine, and Peter Sellers plays just like a straight up idiot who everybody thinks is a genius, and he keeps like being, he becomes famous and keeps being given all these high positions, and he's just kind of a bumbling idiot. It's a very Peter Sellers role, but it has kind of a similar vibe to this in the fact that Harold is just kind of there bumbling around through life and doesn't really have a lot of direction. But I haven't seen The Last Detail, which I've heard is good. That has Jack Nicholson in it. But he didn't make a ton of movies. He made kind of a few big movies in the 70s, and then his career kind of trailed off. But I don't know if Ryan, have you seen any of his other stuff?
I have wanted to watch Being There, but haven't. That's definitely like still one of those like shortlist movies. I have heard a lot of really, really good things about it. But no, I haven't seen any of his other movies. And yeah, he only has like 17, 18 director credits.
Yeah, and
like
some
that.
of them are
Very,
like
very
TV
few.
or music videos or concert films.
Right, real small
and
stuff. Yeah.
Not a lot of them are like proper movies after the 70s. It's really like those big three are kind of, the films he's known for. So I'm interested to watch The Last Detail, and I'd like to revisit Being There at some point.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of his other movies, so this is my first. Would be interested.
The writer also didn't do a lot. Like that's also interesting to me. Because looking at that, most of the stuff that he did was adapt Harold and Maude for other things.
Oh.
It is such an original script that you'd think that he would have done other things, but maybe this was just his big idea, and didn't have a lot of other things to say.
He also wrote 9 to 5 with Dolly
Oh.
Parton.
Okay.
which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so a few things and definitely hits. I don't know if he was more of a playwright or something. Those are the only like movies that I see that he did.
Ryan, you neglected to mention that he also wrote "Ah My Goddess," the best little goddess house in Japan. I can't believe that
I saw that.
You skipped over that, choicely excluding.
I'm fairly certain that's one of those IMDb fuck ups where somebody has the same name.
They got the wrong
Because you
guy.
see those every once in a while. I don't know how he wrote a short in 2025 when he died in 1988.
Don't worry about it.
Just don't ask.
Did he get like a based on credit or something?
Yeah, it
Just says
blank.
writer. It just says writer.
He wrote it along with a bunch of Larry L. King, Peter Masterson,
Larry
and
L. King.
Kosuke Fujishima. Okay.
He could have wrote it before he died, and somebody else made it.
No. Okay. He also wrote The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and that short is The Best Little Goddess House in Japan.
I see. It's
and so I think they had to
on-
give him writer
Yeah,
credit.
there you
I
go.
get it.
That
I
makes
get
sense. My
That
uncle's
makes
in
sense.
the
Okay.
movie The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. He's an extra.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Does he get words?
He doesn't get words. He had to hold up a kid in a crowd scene, and he said that kid was fat and heavy.
Nice. Did they like actually film that out on LaGrange or something?
They filmed it out in Hallettsville.
They have someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's in the crowd. He's the only dude with like a porn stash in the crowd.
The only dude in the best
only
little
guy
whorehouse in
in the
Texas
best
with a
little
porn
whorehouse.
stash?
I'm pretty sure a porn stash at this
Burt-
time of day. In
Burt
this part of
Reynolds
the
is in that
country.
movie. Burt Reynolds has a porn
Yeah, Burt
star.
Reynolds.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
count. He's the lead actor. It's
You're
fine.
saying background.
Yeah, I'm
everyone
saying
else.
background extras. Look for it. You'll find
He's the
him.
only one that was committed to being an
He's
extra.
got Ooter on his shoulders and a porn stash on his face. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we're definitely like off to the side. I guess we can give our
Sure,
final
we're off the
thoughts.
cliff.
Yeah.
Crash this car, Ryan.
John, do you recommend this?
Yeah, I'd recommend this. This is a great movie. I really loved it. I didn't need to be in a certain headspace either. I felt like I jumped in and I got on its wavelength pretty early on. So yeah.
Yeah.
Straight recommend.
Dixon?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's a movie that kind of just like brings you to its wavelength. Like it does a really good job of setting its tone and bringing you there to be in the space where you can appreciate it. So yeah, you have to kind of like dark comedies and meditations on life, but yeah, I enjoyed it and yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
I would recommend it as well. Yeah, having it like a viewing this many years later, I still really enjoyed it. Even kind of knowing the beats, like I was totally happy to see it again. Logan enjoyed it as well. I don't know that I recommend it for teenagers necessarily. I think he was fine to watch it, but I wouldn't say like any teenager should run out and watch it because yeah, you might get the wrong impression from this movie. But yeah, no, I think it's a great window into the 70s and 70 filmmaking. And then yeah, just an interesting movie that it just isn't anything else like it. It definitely came to my mind because Bud Cort passed recently, and also he was the first guy, the one that dies on the boardwalk at the beginning of Dogma.
Oh. Wow.
So we've kind of been, I guess, dancing around Harold and Maude for a little bit.
Ryan, are you saying that you think that movies about like lost, depressed young men are best not to be viewed by people in that
Potentially
phase
young
of
lost
life?
men.
Yeah. I didn't want to accuse Logan of being a lost, depressed young man, but are you, I guess you said teenagers generally, but like, do you think that those types of movies like The Graduate or Taxi Driver or something about like a young person that's confused and is maybe potentially going down the wrong path or unsure about themselves, is that best like viewed after that phase of life to appreciate that more or I'm just curious as to what you meant by that.
I guess I'm just like CYA legally myself potentially. I would say like I watched kind of all those movies we just listed when I was absolutely like at a dark place, lost teen, like, or late teens. And I guess I came out mostly okay. I made it through. It's difficult because I think you don't always know how somebody actually can view movies that age when you really haven't fully matured or appreciated or seen enough to actually get on the movie's wavelength, right? So I think that's kind of where I'm like, yeah, a teen might not really have experienced enough to get it and would get the wrong impression from it. Taxi Driver is exactly that.
Yeah.
Like someone could watch that and be like, this is cool.
I mean, we're going to make that PS2 game about it. I keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Lots of people have done that with many of Scorsese's films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The Last Temptation.
I hear a lot of kids that read Catcher in the Rye. I don't feel like kids read books in high school anymore. When I hear my kids, they don't fucking read any books in high school. I sound like an old man when I'm like, I think they should, but whatever.
Just kind of sit around.
They do some sometimes it's like excerpts. Or they also they read a lot of articles or a lot of like true writing instead of like classical fiction, which I think is strange because I'm like, I feel like you need to get all of those references in order to get them again later in other media. It's going to be hard to go in media if you constantly aren't like aware of older media. Like it kind of is just a thing that keeps coming back up.
Also,
I think it's a
you
little
need to
strange.
develop an attention span to like sit down and read a book.
That's been a problem.
Like,
I think if you like talk to college students now, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's probably one thing they need to do is like go back and help force attention spans. It's going to be a reckoning for these newer generations.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I think Catcher in the Rye in high school is a little bit of a miss because, like, yeah, you totally are Holden Caulfield, but you totally are Holden Caulfield, so you're not getting it. And like,
I read
as
that
an
book for
adult,
the first
you can see
time
more of him.
like a year ago. Hated it. Thought it was a terrible book.
Well, you weren't
He's
an
a
aimless
horrible
teen,
person.
so it wasn't for you.
Every teen is aimless.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's the perspective that as an adult, right? You can look at it and be like, this kid's an asshole. He's not getting it. Right. He thinks he's got it, but he absolutely doesn't. He thinks he's so different, but he's not at all. Right. Like, but as a kid, you just see that and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it depends. It could be good because in the way that, yes, an old lady commits suicide and we see a kid constantly attempting to commit suicide. It totally is a life affirming movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is for
right.
sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. I just don't want some parent sending us angry emails or something.
Why would the kids listen to this?
Yes, our audience of children and Amish people.
Hey, after that not Shrek episode, which we've definitely
we
addressed.
really suckered him in.
For anybody who's been holding out for a long time and wondering why, and by a long time I mean like a few weeks, and wondering why we did an episode called This Isn't Shrek, it's just because Dixon thought we were doing Shrek for a really long time, and we kept it a secret really well.
I did not know until I listened to the episode. You guys did a very good job of keeping that under wraps.
Now we're locked in a very serious legal battle with Dixon and his people over stealing his voice. So worth it, That's see in court.
I have sued John for the sum of $100, and I will get that money.
That's right. Yeah.
See you in court.
What's the Joe Pera thing? We're suing each other in court to just see how the legal system works.
Just to learn,
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll bring it home, Ryan.
I'll bring us home. I've been your host tonight, Ryan King. Have a good rest of your day.
God damn it,
joining
Ryan.
us.
They didn't hear my rant earlier, so
That would
that's
have to put
completely
this
out
at the
of
beginning
context.
of the episode. Oh my God.
Joining us as always.
That's amazing. That's so great. John Garcia. We need more Harold and Maude movies, everybody. We need more old women's sex movies, I guess, is really what I'm advocating for. We need representation.
You're saying
it's too many.
Sex in the City didn't go far enough.
Yeah, it didn't go far enough. It needs to go farther than that. I'm tired of seeing old men kiss young women. We need to see the opposite in droves to get more people on the level.
I'm all for it.
Also joining us,
Michael Dixon. Before we started recording, I went on a long rant about how I hate the phrase "have a great rest of your day" because it's a grammatical nightmare and it makes no sense. Just say have a great day, have a great afternoon, have a great evening. I know that some of the day is already past. I don't need you to remind me of that. You wouldn't say have a great your day. You would say have a great day. What the fuck? Why would anyone say have a great rest of your day? It's complete not...
Hey there, movie buffs, TV toughs, and all listeners in between. John here from the Afterthoughts podcast. I just wanted to drop in at the end of this episode and say thanks for listening. If you've got afterthoughts of your own to share, hit us up. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Afterpod, or jump into a conversation on our Discord server. You can find info for this and more at theafterpod.transistor.fm. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.